guys, I am Chris Kaler.
And I'm Amber from Kyuujin Cosplay, and today we're back guys with Steins Gate 0, episode 16.
Yes, last episode was about Daru, Yuki, and Suzu. The whole little family coming together and being created.
Love is in the air.
Yes, Daru did not have the confidence to go to Yuki and ask her out. So basically everyone, except Okarin, teamed up to teach him how to be confident. They went too far though. They changed him completely and Yuki did not like that at all. So he took it hard and Suzu came to him and said that basically, well, the way she's been acting last episode, it looks like she has a deadline or of some kind. Like she's waiting for something and she doesn't have much time. So I don't know what's going on, but we'll focus on that this episode maybe. But yeah, when Suzu went to Daru and said, you know, I wish to see this happen, he basically found courage to call Yuki again, and they basically told each other that they cared about one another, and it was pretty cute.
It worked!
Yes, because she likes Daru.
She liked him back.
She likes the Daru that we know, without the changes and the new clothes and the attitude. She likes the Daru that no one else seems to like, at least that's what he thinks. But it was cute, and Suzu was happy, and there were tears, and Kagari was spying on them all. Maybe she's wishing to find this family again, too.
Wishing to have her mama back?
Yeah. Like, we don't know what's going on with her and what they have her do, but I feel like the real Kagari is still there, and she longs for that. It's just that she can't go back to it right now because of all that shit.
But...
And Maho is there, too, working on the microwave. So yeah, let's jump in this episode and see if we get to figure out what the deadline is or what the week is supposed to be about.
Yeah, let's watch it, guys.
Let's go. This episode, it's just...
You're so good. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
The thing is, I feel so bad for Mayuri because it's true that in wanting to protect him from suffering, she asked him to stay and not go back in time trying to save Makise. Yeah. But since then, it's true that he wasn't the same anymore.
Daru and
he's
Mayuri.
Not Okarin.
Both Mayuri and Daru feel like, you know, it's not the same. He's not the same. He's changed a lot and he is sad all the time. He hides it behind, you know, pretenses and smiles, and he focuses on his future and going abroad, and he's trying to stay away, and he's trying to move on from his grief, which is a good thing, but the way he's doing it is like abandoning everything that made him him. And it's sad and it's not normal, and it's just, it breaks their heart. So they're all, you know, hoping that the Okarin that they used to love and care about will come back and, you know, put on his coat and do his thing, and it's not happening. And yes, with what Mayuri just found out this episode, she would think that it all happened because she did not push him to save Makise, because she feels like losing Makise is what destroyed him, but she doesn't know everything for sure. I do think that he would be just as miserable in the other timeline if he had saved, because I mean, we saw that other timeline, like he would be just as fucked up. And it's the only reason, you know, I do get why he was screaming this episode. I get his trauma. I get why he's so sad all the time. I do think that Daru was right in, you know, punching him because he needed to hear what he had to say, and he was being mean to everyone, but we cannot blame him for freaking out, because as soon as he saw that microwave, it's like trauma. It's
everything
like
went back,
months of trauma coming back. Yeah. So the only thing though he did wrong, I feel like here, is that he assumed they were gonna do the same mistakes because they did not care about him who was gonna go through, you know, the suffering, and the people they were gonna hurt. It would be easy to assume, you know, that, oh, if you have the chance to create that microwave, but yet you don't see the consequences and you don't feel them, you'd work with it anyway, you know. What he doesn't understand though is that he made it sound like they were horrible people that did not hear him when he said, you know, he had suffered and he didn't want to go back there. And yeah, he made it sound like he did not trust them to do the right thing. It does hurt though that they worked on it behind his back, but I'm glad that he found out. I'm glad that, you know, it's out in the open. They need to keep working on it, but he needs to work with them for that, so that's good. I think everyone said some truths this episode. Emotions went really high. Like, it was a really good episode. And but like, they're also broken, and Mayuri thinks that it's her fault, you know, that because he chose her instead of Makise, that's why he's suffering. That's not true. He needs to, I mean, I don't think he's gonna change her mind about that. I think she's too convinced that, you know, she's not meant for him. That's Makise's meant for Okarin, and because he chose her, he just turned out to be desperate and stuff. The only thing that could actually fix that is if he went back to being the Okarin that we know. And for that to happen, thank God Maho gave him that speech. We need him to find motivation again, and for him to find hope that there's possibility of change.
It reminds me, do you remember when we used to do mathematics in high school with algebra? And our teachers used to told us that to solve the equation, you need to put the x and y at the right places so that both sides would be equals, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you need to do, because to obtain the Steins gate, no World War III, Mayuri is alive, Makise is alive, you need to find where to put his x and his y's.
Well,
to achieve so that both sides will be equal.
You're making a huge metaphor for this, but actually what it just means is that he saw this as faith.
You need to have the same components, the same thing that happened.
Well,
in a way like we see in the first season.
Yes, no, but that's what we know he's gonna have to do. So that's why you're making a metaphor about this. What she was talking about, I think, is that in his mind, he believes that the problem and stuff is faith. You know, he's gonna have to choose between Makise and Mayuri. That's faith. He saw this as a thing that was gonna happen no matter what, and she's seeing it as a problem that needs to be solved. So that's the thing. He stopped seeing it as something he could probably solve, because with everything he's been through, he feels like it's not possible, you know. He
was failing, yeah.
Because he was failing. So he sees this as a certitude, something that's not going to change no matter what he does. She sees it as, it's just a problem. You just need to look at it a different way or work on it, but we can solve it. He's tried to do this on his own before. It did not work, but he was working with it alone and with Makise. Now he's with Maho, who's different.
Oh, he's going to need the help of Sayeri to solve the case.
Well, maybe. Yeah, and that's gonna be in a way, it's gonna be her, if she helps him through this, it's her own achievement, you know, it's her own success in her life. You know, she's gonna do something that Makise did not do, because Makise was saying that, you know, some things you can't change in life. And Maho just focuses on, no, you know what? I'm going further than that. You can solve this. There's nothing, there is nothing such as faith or God that decides you need to die, you need to die.
But that's the thing with failures, when every single time you're just trying to do it over again, and you're not giving up, you know.
Well, the thing is, it's similar to being banged on the head. You know, when you fail, bang, and again, bang, 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 till you're on the ground. Okarin is on the ground right now, and he can't get up. He needs someone to push him a little bit, kind of like Daru last episode. He needs someone to push him, and it is gonna hurt, and it is gonna, you know, make him feel like he's about to suffer. The trauma is going to work against him, and he's not going to want to go through the failure again.
I'm just going to give him a pass for that, because it is true that usually I will say that do not give up after so many failures. But it's true that with Okarin, his failures result with somebody's dead, Mayuri or Makise. So the trauma is there. It is pretty deep. It is pretty huge also. So
but that's why when he was screaming at Maho and Daru, I was like, I don't like that he's being mean. That's why I was like, Daru is in his right to punch him, but he's also in his right to freak out.
Because it is true that technically Okarin is the only one who remembers what happened no matter what timeline.
But he feels that that's because, you know, he feels that because of that, they did not hear him. That's why he was saying, you know, oh, you just forget everything I told you and you don't give a shit. That's what his mistake was, because they did not. They care about him, and they care about what he told them, and they want to be careful about this. That's the only mistake he did. Everything else is valid. He feels like they're not validating his suffering. And then, you know, we were saying, I don't remember if it's in this show or another, but, you know, I think it's ReZero, actually. But when no one around you really knows what you're going through, it's so easy to dismiss it and be like, well, it didn't really happen because, you know, I'm here at the start where nothing has happened yet.
Or just also thinking that you're the only one to suffer, and you don't take in consideration others people's feelings.
Well, no, but if he were to use the machine and go back in time before they ever learned about what happened to him, it'd be like nothing had ever happened. They would act differently towards him. They would dismiss his suffering because they don't know about it. So it's easy for him maybe to feel like they're dismissing his emotions because they don't know about it. They haven't been there. They're not the same people from the timelines where he's been suffering so much. So it's easy for him to jump to the conclusion that you don't care about my feelings and what I told you. But then it's not true. They heard him and they care about him and they don't want to rush things, which is why, in my opinion, it's better that he works with them. But for that to happen, he needs to hear Maho out. He needs, to shake himself up and accept that this is not fate. This is not a certitude. This is something that can be solved and changed.
Yeah.
You just need to work for it. Even though it's hard, even though you might suffer again, you need to work for it. He needs to find that spark, and it's gonna happen for sure. When it's gonna happen, like, you can bet we'll have our smiles up to the ears, and we'll be so happy.
We will. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna be just so sad for Mayuri.
Oh yeah, Mayuri is a fucking tragedy.
When I see her being in love with Okarin, and she knows that he's in love with somebody else, and that's not her, and I feel so bad.
And like I said in the episode, for her, it's gonna be so difficult because the only Okarin that could potentially be with her in the future is the one that isn't chained down by the memory of Makise. But the Okarin who isn't chained down by Makise is not Okarin. It's a guy who's traumatized. It's a guy who's been hurt beyond repair. It's a guy who's in denial.
It's a guy who focused on his study and his future and none of his friends.
Which is not bad because he was worse in the beginning of the show, of the season. He was way worse. And we were saying he needed to, deal with his grief, which he has tried to do. And I think that because of what happened with Kagari, maybe he went a step back. He went back to being more in denial. It's not just about Makise now, it's also about his involvement in the whole thing. At first he was like, okay, I'll go back to the lab, I'll go back to talking with you guys, and I'll go back to trying to create something.
World War III,
yeah, and then suffering again, and he was like, whoop, as soon as he saw a hint of suffering, he went like, whoop, okay, no, I'll find Kagari, but then I'll focus on something else.
Which is understandable because he's afraid of getting hurt again.
Yeah. But it's not the Okarin that we're used to, and it's not the one that Makise loves, Mayuri loves. So it's gonna happen. Like, we know it's gonna happen, but I cannot wait for that spark to come back, for him to put on the coat and be like, I'm Psycho again. Woo! The things Daru has been saying for many episodes now. He kept saying, one day he will put back that coat. He will put that coat back on, and he'll say one of his catchphrases, and he'll be the Okarin that we remember. And I'm like, yes, you will.
One day we'll see it.
Well, one day soon, because right now, so we figured out what was going on with Suzu. Basically, in 1 week, it's gonna be the last day where she can go back to Makise's death. We know that's not necessarily what they're gonna do, but that's why she's so, focused on that 1 week. So I think that in 1 week, maybe they need to find the motivation, because otherwise Suzu's gonna lose it.
Oh, so that will be the Okarin that we know of then. Who's gonna create the message for the Okarin from the past.
This Okarin is the one who makes the message.
Yeah, but in 1 week it will make the message.
No, maybe not. No, that's not what I said. He doesn't need to create the message in 1 week. We know he's gonna send it eventually. What he needs to do is at least find his motivation, find his spark in 1 week before Suzu loses it, before it's too late.
Yeah.
Because I remember we talked about this, and I remember we got confused over the timelines, and it's normal because this show is confusing when it comes to timelines.
I'm just gonna follow as it goes.
Yeah, we're just gonna watch the next episode. but yeah, it doesn't matter if this Suzu goes back or not. If it is the Suzu that goes back with the message, then yes, he needs to make it in 1 week, and we have 7 episodes,
which is fitting.
Yeah, exactly. So, and they did the same thing in the first season too. The number of episodes fit with the number of days we had or something. So, I love when they do this shit. This show is good, guys. This show is good.
Oh.
Okay, we'll move on. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode with us. We have 1 week left of episodes, it looks like, and the emotions were so high in this. I cannot wait to see how they do the rest of the show. And I want to see that spark come back, so I'm excited. Hopefully you are excited too. If you want to see the next episode right away, it is on Patreon already. The link is in the description below. Check it out if you want.
And if you don't, wait for 1 week to see the next one on YouTube, guys. See you in 7 days.
Bye!